In the first two videos, we showed you the first one, which was a very simple check-in only model for cafes or businesses where you only need to know that a visitor has visited and perhaps give them some messaging that around their check-in. The second video, we covered the next step where we want visitors to check in and out, and we wanted to have a bit more advanced messaging and perhaps ask them a couple of health-related questions. In this one, we're going to show you another stage further where you wanted to gather even more information, have a more detailed health and safety message. And so this, for example, might be involved in building, construction, or that sort of environment where the health and safety becomes a real focus for what you're trying to do. So again, we're using exactly the same process, exactly the same method with the QR code. The visitor, whether it be an employee or a visitor to the site, is going to use their phone again to check in. So I'll show you that very quickly. So again, on my phone, I'm going to open the camera. I'm going to scan the unique QR code for the site, and then it'll open up. So again, this is for my bigger building site example. So again, once again, as I said in the earlier two videos, we capture the employee's email address, name, and phone number. And if they've been here before, then we're capturing the same information. I'm capturing who they work for. So in this case, it's ABC Building Supplies, but again, I've got the same ability to search. So it could be ABC Electrical or whatever the business is that's working on this particular site. And then rather than asking who I'm visiting, I'm going to ask what site they're working on. So if you have a construction business or a building business where you have employees or visitors going to multiple locations, rather than identifying at this level who the person is we're meeting, we'll still do that, but we're able to pick the site that they're visiting. So if I go in here and I type in that it's for a building site, so here are my examples. So I've got the big site in Napier, I've got the little site in Hastings, and I've got the commercial site in Wellington. So I can say as a visitor, I'm checking in. So that visitor could be an employee or a trade visitor. I'm visiting the commercial building site. Now, again, we've got the health and safety messaging. Now, we've made this one a little bit more in depth. So we've put some information here more about PPE, a lot more information around the Health and Safety and Employment Act, etc. We've also asked them a few more questions. So again, we might ask a couple of COVID questions, but here I've also asked them to confirm that they have undertaken a recent site safe induction. So yes, I have. I'm going to ask them whether they agree to our health and safety policy. Yes, I do. And I'm also going to ask them to confirm that they've got their own personal protective equipment and are aware of all of our known hazards. And so I'm going to say, yes, I am. Now it's going to say, who are you visiting on site? So I'm going to say I'm visiting Bob or whoever I'm visiting. What's the purpose of your visit? This could be a site check, for example. And what is your site safe code or whatever other code that is important to you? So I can put in a code, whatever that code is, if it's important to capture some verification around their site safe or their induction code or whatever that might be. It could be some sort of trade certificate if you want to capture that sort of information. Then the visitor checks in, same as the others do. Again, I give them another message. This time it's around acknowledging the health and safety, also reminding them to wear their PPE at all time. And then the visitor will go do what they're doing on site, do the work that they're doing. And while they're doing that, we are tracking not only the fact that they have visited, but we're also tracking the fact that they are still on site. And then at some point later in the day, they'll come back in and they will check out. And again, we'll give them the final message. They close the app and they leave. So with this interface, you're able to ask a lot more questions. We're also adding some functionality where you, for example, can have them accessing additional documents via the interface. So they can go to Google Docs or Google Forms and either read additional information or answer particular questions in a Google form. We've also working on the ability for you to add some sort of health and safety video in there. Now, those aren't in there right at the moment, but they are a work in progress for us. So we had someone who wants to be able to play a short 1-minute video related to health and safety. So you will be able to do whatever it is that you need to do for this particular site where the site is a bigger, more sophisticated need. So what we're trying to do is, again, capture relevant information, particularly around health, but more importantly around health and safety, and also not only capture information, but also communicate information to your visitors, whether they be an employee, a trade visitor, a visitor of some other sort, the owner of the site. It could be anyone visiting the site where you want to capture that information and you need to know who's on that site and you need to know that you're keeping them safe.